My background, I've been in human resources for about 22 years now in leadership positions. So when Joe in the marketing department asked me if I wanted to talk about making a great first impression, I thought sure, because I've seen many, many examples of how to do it right and many, many examples of how to do it wrong. Why is making a good first impression important? It's kind of rhetorical, maybe somewhat redundant. Because you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Would you guys agree? Absolutely. There's been numerous scientific studies that are out there that employers know within the first 30 seconds of meeting you whether they're going to hire you or not, or whether they're going to call you back for another interview or not. So it's important that you make not only a very good first impression on paper, but a very good first impression on the phone, and a very good first impression in person. How many of you guys have done telephone interviews? So to make great first impressions on the telephone, how about attitude? Does attitude just come shining through on the telephone? Yeah. Good, bad, or indifferent? Yeah. Just like in emails that we get? Oh, yeah. And the inflection? Attitude. Attitude shines through in tone, tempo, and your voice inflection. It is so vitally important. I cannot communicate this enough. It is so vitally important that you have a good and positive attitude. How about timing? Setting up an appointment for an interview and a call at the exact time for which the call was set. If you set the time for 1 o'clock, you're going to get a call at 1 o'clock. So if you have business or prior business that you're doing, it's probably not a good idea to run it up until like maybe 12:57 to hang up with that phone. You might want to end it maybe at 12:45 or maybe 20 minutes to 1 so you could prepare for your telephone interview. Okay? And when you actually answer the phone, do you think that's important? How you answer the phone? So the phone rings and you know it's right around 1 o'clock. Who could possibly be calling me right around 1 o'clock? My future employer? And so you pick it up. Maybe you just had an argument or a disagreement, or maybe you were disgruntled about something, or maybe something set you off, and so you answer the phone. Yeah. Hello. Okay? Or being too laid back when you answer the phone. It sounds like you just woke up. The best way to answer the phone, hello, this is Larry. See how attentive you are? It comes right through the phone. And believe me, interviewers, I've done this for a very long time, pick up on that right away. In today's job market, the most qualified individual guys do not get the jobs. Am I telling you something that you don't already know? Or are you shocked and surprised by that statement? Because the most qualified people don't get jobs. However, the most suitable individuals are the ones that do get the position. Taking more of a balanced scorecard approach. So while you might not have come shining through in the face-to-face interviews, your other interviews, or your battery of interviews, might have been better, and you might have scored higher on a personality test that reflects that you're a great team player. In addition, maybe you don't have as much education as all the other incumbents, but you know what? The one thing that we were looking for that we never told incumbents who were coming in was this right here. And I always tell people, they always tell me I'm overqualified. My response to that is that everybody needs to go for jobs that they're barely qualified for. Does that make sense? Versus going for jobs that you're well qualified for. Because if you go for jobs that you're well qualified for, that's another way of saying that you're overqualified. And how many times have you guys heard that? You need to constantly challenge yourselves and apply for jobs that you're barely qualified for, and then let your attitude and let all the other KSAs and knowledge, skills, and abilities that you bring to the table when you get called in come shining through. Inevitably, because we're human beings, we always remember the last thing that somebody says. Always. Okay? So what I do is I address their question. And I might not be able to meet those qualifications, so what I'll do is right when I come out to explain that, I may address that kind of in a very broad way, but I will follow it up on how and why I can do this job. Because they're going to remember the last thing you say to them. Employers are no different. And that's why I call it the feather sledgehammer. I'm getting out all the information, and I'm not being deceitful, misrepresenting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them everything, but I just choose to deliver the things that really don't put me in the best possible light first, and then I'm going to follow it up with a tremendous amount of positive things, so that way they see both sides. 5 ways to make a great impression with your resume, okay? The first one, align your objectives, your professional objectives with the organization's objectives that you're going for. Now, I know most of us have resumes, but you know what? Your resume should probably be tailored for each and every job in each and every company you go for, honestly. Find out what the company needs and be that. That makes sense. Find out what they need and be that need. Put the spotlight, as I said, on results and accomplishments. Okay? Don't regurgitate a position description on a resume. They don't set forth results and accomplishments. Ruthlessly eliminate spelling, grammar, and word use errors. Just because you do spell check, that doesn't mean you went through to eliminate spelling and grammar mistakes. Would you guys agree? Lastly, don't send your resume out there alone. Ryan's talked about LinkedIn. It's great. In addition to this, you should always have a cover letter, a nicely crafted cover letter. Say you've gone through, well, you send in your resume. You've gone through the telephone interview, and now you've been called in for an interview. Plan to arrive early. Right here, that's a stickler for me. I always arrive at least 20 minutes early, if not before. Why do I want to arrive early? Because I want to lay the land. Arriving early is much better than arriving late. Agreed? Okay? And this is the first step in creating a great first impression. So when you're talking to a potential employer, don't you want to be attentive and be on the edge of your seat and give them your full attention? Because you know what, guys? Interviewing is nothing more than a game. That's all it is. So it's a numbers game to get in the door, but then once you're in the door, another game begins. As an individual who used to hire people, I used to base pretty much if I hired them or not on a simple handshake. And you're like, you got to be kidding me. I can tell a great deal from a person's handshake. Now, it doesn't need to be the handshake where you go in there and you're like going to throw them down and it's going to be like MMA and I'm going to show them what's up. But at the same time, it doesn't need to be like one of these.
I hate that.
The limp fish, 2 elements of the smile. Good, relaxed eye contact. We know whether you're being genuine or not. We know when people are smiling at us if they're just being smart guys or a smart person, or if it's actually a genuine smile. In addition, you don't need to show your teeth if you don't want to. A nice smile. If the interview feels like you're penetrating like a stare, and you guys know what I mean, okay? It's kind of creepy. Okay? Just relax. Be polite and courteous. Let the interviewer take the lead. Manners, manners, manners. Please remember to be a good listener. And you guys can get this presentation from Joe. Okay? It's important to be a good listener. The interviewer's name. Please remember people's names. Challenge and test yourself. Okay? Because people like to hear their names. They like to hear you use their name. I already have the thank you card done when I go into the interview. And it's not a standard one. And again, a positive, forward-looking message. I want to work for this company. We talked about why I want to work for this company. And I'm waiting for your call. If you guys have any questions, if you have my cards, please email me. Okay? I will respond to you. If you send me an email, I will respond. Okay? I thank you for you guys' time. Thank you.